We hear it all the time, short game, short game, short game. How important is it? How do you practice it? Today's video, I'm going to show you how I work on my short game. We hear it a lot, it's a super important thing, but how do you know exactly where your short game needs to be fixed and where you're strong at? Let's take a look at how I practice my short game right now. Thank you very much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. My name is Kenny. Some of you may know me as Kennie Kat. I am a competitive golfer, and this channel is dedicated to my journey on what it takes to become a better competitive golfer. It's like the sun's all in my eye. So today we're going to be working on baseline tests. And before we get back into competitive season, I really haven't done much of any competitive golf in the last 2-3 months, so I really don't know exactly where my game is at. So we're going to start doing some baseline tests, and the first thing I'm going to do is start with my putting. So I'm going to set up 3-foot circle, and I'm going to go around like you've all seen a bunch of times, and obviously I'm hoping to make 9 out of 10 of those. If I do 9 out of 10 of those, then I'll go to 5 feet, and then I'll go to 7 feet. Obviously, where I struggle the most lets me know exactly what I need to start working on to get back into my competitive spirit. So let's get that started. Now, as you can see, I missed that one putt 2 times in a row. Now, that would be a fail because that's only 80% from 3 feet, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 5 feet simply because I think that there's just something that was with that line, but also got in my head on the second putt. Sorry, I'm trying to get a better angle for light. That's much better. Now, I missed that same putt twice. That would be a fail because it's only 80%, but I genuinely think that I got in my head and I broke my own process. But I also think that the line was just a little funky from this little tuft of grass that was there. Not making excuses, literally just trying to say that, like, even though they're 3 feet putts, if you don't focus on your process and you don't follow through, it's so easy to miss those putts, even from inside of 3 feet. So that just goes to show me that I had a lapse in mental, not necessarily a lapse in technical. So I'm going to move on to 5 feet, make sure that I keep my focus as I'm moving through this drill, and then we'll keep it going. Too shabby, about 50% from 5 feet. Clearly that's an area where we have to work on. So we're not going to go any further than that just because 50% from 5 feet is not ideal. I'd love to be closer to 70%, almost 80% from 5 feet. So we're not going to jump to the 7 and 8 foot putts because this is the area we need to work on. So now we just know 5 feet putts is where I'm going to start a lot of my deliberate practice because that's the area that I need the most help in for my putting. So the next thing we're going to go on to is a simple lag putting drill. I'm going to do 9 holes of lag putting. I'm going to drop the ball between 20 and 40 feet around this hole over here to the right, and the goal is to obviously get it up and down in 2 putts, and then I'll record my score at the end of everything. So that was pretty good on the lag putting. Obviously got a score of 19. I only missed one of the putts from 2 putts. I'd ideally like to be at a 17 for a perfect, but speed skill is something that clearly I can adjust to even on these very slow, bumpy greens. So thought that was pretty good. Next, I'm going to do a quick game of 18 up and down. I'm going to drop balls around the green here and try to get up and down 9 holes in ideally a score of 19 or 18. Ideally in a score of 18 or less. And then I think that will wrap up this video for just short game. We are kind of blending wedges and putting, but it makes the most sense to me. So let me set it up, do my up and down 18, grab myself a little snack, and let's finish this video out right. Happened. And that is a blow up. That is obviously a very grueling hour of short game practice. That one downhill, rough lie, trying to chip it short side, that is clearly a position that I struggle with, and it's something that's good to note. But overall, I think that was 6 over out of 18 and a nice little score. So that was 3 or 4 holes that I didn't get up and down. And ideally, you probably want to be getting up and down maybe 60% of the time. But the distances I was hitting and where I'm at, it's kind of okay for the most part. But obviously some things in there that we got to work on. I'm going to head back home now because I got to get my work day started. I'm going to go ahead and review the footage and then we'll wrap this video up. Let's head on back home. And we are back. So today was really just a drill that focused exclusively on putting. I know we did have some up and down and scrambling around the greens, but for the most part, the PGA Tour average for scrambling is roughly, I think, 10 feet from pretty much anywhere around the green. And in none of those chips was I anywhere more than 8 feet away from the hole. So it really comes down to my ability to effectively convert those putts in order to save par. So it doesn't really matter where I start. I just want to have a baseline of what my skills are right now. And if we look at the 3 foot, I was 80% from 3 feet. From 5 feet, I was 50%. And if we look at Mark Brody's book here, because we always want to know how good we are relative to where we should be, obviously from 3 feet, we need to be scratch golfers making 93% of those. The biggest gap, though, is going to be those 5-footers. So according to Mark Brody's PGA Tour stats, a Tour Pro is 77% from 5 feet, scratch golfer is 66%, and a 90s golfer is 50%. And that's today where I noticed that I was struggling a little bit. I was only 50% from 5 feet. And that's an area where you really have to be dialed in because there's a huge value of separation at 5 feet. You're realistically not just going to be able to get most chips to get up and down inside of 3 feet. And 5 to 8 feet is a more realistic number from pretty much anywhere off of the green. And as you saw from my up and down, if you can't convert 5-foot putts, you're going to be losing a lot of strokes out on the golf course. So as we get up into competition day, I'm definitely going to be focusing a lot on my 5, 6, 7, and 8-foot putts. Last thing I wanted to touch on was my up and down game. I scored
5 over through 9 holes, which was a final score of 23. Obviously, I ran into a little bit of mess with that chip that was in the rough and that was below the green. And I do find that I have issues with a lot of below my feet and above my feet balls when I'm trying to scramble around the green with a lot of hills and undulations. That's something that I'm definitely going to practice. Obviously, in an ideal scenario, I would never leave myself in that position, but sometimes it happens. I don't have as much control over my irons as I would like to, so it's important to practice and put yourself in situations that are extremely uncomfortable. Excluding the total amount of strokes taken, I think it was still pretty good because I got up and down 6 out of 9 times from some pretty difficult spots around the green. I'm very happy with the 66% up and down ratio. I would love to be, playing this game and ideally get to a perfect score of 18, if not 17, and save a stroke and maybe chip one in. I almost forgot. And then I did lag putting. Obviously, lag putting is another skill that you're going to need to have, which is basically speed control. That's what you're testing, is your ability to control speed. And the lag putting, I 19, so I only missed one of those lag putts from 20 to 45 feet. And I just kind of moved all around the green and try to get different undulations, uphill, downhill, whatever the case may be. You need to have the ability to adjust your game to the speed that is required. And in that test, we did very, very good. Next video, we'll talk about wedges and how I measure the baseline for my ability to hit wedge shots. Let me know in that comment section below, are there any specific drills that you use to test how good your putting is? I'd be curious to hear from you all down that lens. That's really all I got for you. As always, thank you very much for watching my YouTube channel. Deuces, people. Let's keep it moving.